this is Zach from Board with Friends, and when I say hey everybody, I do mean everybody, because board games are for everyone, not just kids. Adults can enjoy them too. In fact, adults usually enjoy them more than kids because it's a hobby gaming industry. That being said, we try to make this show for family friendly so that anyone can watch it. So I'm sure you can figure out what I'm getting at here with those kinds of comments. Anyway, right in front of us here, we have two tiny epic games from Gamelin Games. Gamelin Games makes the Tiny Epic series. They also made Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea, and they have other titles coming out. They have a new title arriving now from Kickstarter, Tiny Epic Tactics, although I messed up my Kickstarter, what do you call it, the backer survey thing that you're supposed to take, so I don't know when I'm going to get mine. But what I did get in the mail is some really cool box inserts for these two Tiny Epics. Tiny Epic Galaxies has been one of my favorites for a while. It was one of the first Kickstarter games I ever backed. Mechs came in earlier this year. Really enjoyed that one. Tiny Epic Quest, which is not shown right here. I also have a box insert for that, but it's different branding, so I just wanted to go over this one that I've got for these two. These are pretty cool. I got them on Etsy from Tabletop Gaming Resources, I think is the name of it. I'll put a link in the description below. But let's take a look at these. The games themselves are really neat. We've done reviews on them on the podcast, so you can always go listen to that if you want to see a full-on review of the Tiny Epic games. One of our more recent episodes was on Mechs. But anyway, normally when you open up a Tiny Epic box, it's just, the stuff's in there. It's always well-packed. I'm not complaining about, how Gamelin handles these things. But it's all baggies and things like that. And it's amazing how they fit all this stuff into these little tiny boxes. But what I like to do with games that I really, really enjoy is, I believe the professional term is bling them out. With, just stuff that makes the gameplay experience better. For our villainous game, we got a really cool 3D printed cauldron and these really cool chits to be, represent the power tokens. For the Tiny Epic games, I've been looking at, inexpensive, but also really helpful box inserts. So these are 3D printed. We're going to take this out. So the cards just sit on top for Galaxies. And this one's pretty darn simple because Galaxies itself is very simple. It's, the component-wise anyway. So you have these 3D trays, 3D printed trays that just slide right out, and they hold the cards. And this has enough room, I believe, for the expansions and for if you wanted to sleeve these cards. I don't usually sleeve my cards. You can have a debate on whether or not that's appropriate in the comments below. But then this one also comes with another tray here where it's got the beautiful dice, inlaid right here on the side of the tray, and then it has all the secret mission cards on the opposite side. But then the neat thing is, for the players, it comes with these color-coded 3D printed trays to put all the components in, and they just sit snugly inside the box. And then this just completely takes down the amount of setup time, because I could just take all the pieces out, hand out these little trays, sort the cards, and we're pretty much good to go with this game now. Whereas before I had to open up baggies and hand things out, and it just added more to setup time. And that's one of my biggest gripes when I'm playing board games is I hate setup time. I want something that's super quick. So when a game comes with an awesome box insert, that's great. But the clever people that are out there, cleverer than I am, have come up with these really neat options for everyone. And of course I play yellow, so I had to have this because it's really well made. These are pretty sturdy stuff too. I've not dabbled in 3D printing before myself. I don't have a 3D printer, so I was always weary that it was going to be cheap, but this stuff is really solid. And it looks awesome. The colors just pop. And it looks fantastic. And when you hand out something on these trays, people are just like, oh wow, this is neat. I didn't expect this kind of thing. And it all just snugly fits inside the box. You just put these things onto the side, and then everything is measured perfectly to fit right in there. Very nicely. And there's a little divot in here for the cards to go in. And then you can put the rule book right on top. They also have one for the Into the Black expansion set, which I don't have. I missed the Kickstarter on it. I'm sorry, Tiny Epic fans. But I really enjoy this little tray. There's other options out there too. I was looking for a wooden one, because I have a wooden one for Tiny Epic Quest, and I like that. But this was a little bit cheaper, and it's pretty darn cool. So anyway, let's take a look at the Mechs one here. Pop this open. You put the instructions booklets on the top. Then you got all your cards for the character and pilots. And then you get a very cool tray here. This all slides out. It's got this little indent. You put the meeples inside the Mechs, the power suits, and they all just sit in this little tray here. You have a tray for all of the action cards for your characters. Oops. And then you have this other tray that sits on top here. And then these are the cards that you use to set up the game board. And then it comes with this nice tray for all the weapons. I haven't painted my weapons yet. I haven't decided if I'm going to or not, especially with this new box insert. And then in here, we have all of the individual player trays, and they're all color-coded just like the other one, which is great. So everything fits very snugly inside these little trays. Whoops. So yeah, snugly, right? And then it falls out. Because it's all tiny bits with these things. And we got the orange one. And again, very, very sturdy. I like it. Nothing's breaking on me. Nothing's falling apart. And then you have one final tray over here, where you can put the big mech inside. You can put it, take it apart, put it inside there, fits nicely, and then you have room for the micro expansion that came with the deluxe version of this game, which is very nice. I mean, you could have just had it and put the extra tokens or something in here, or maybe some of the weapons if you don't have the micro expansion, but I do, so we put those in there. And again, the amount of cleverness that goes into building this is just insane to me. Like, you know, I mean, I'm sure it's just measurements or whatever, but I really, really appreciate the work that went into this. And everything is just solidly built. So out there, I mean, there's lots and lots of companies now who do different game inserts, but check out on Etsy, like, some of the stuff that you find, because am I putting that in correctly? Now I'm just second guessing. Yeah, that went in correctly. Some of the stuff that I found on Etsy is pretty cheap, and this particular person has made some pretty good products. I like these a lot. So if you want to pimp out your Tiny Epic games, he also has stuff for a lot of other games as well, 3D printed trays and things and box inserts. You should definitely check it out. I will put a link in the description below. This was not a paid-for advertisement. I just got these in, thought they were cool, and wanted to make a video about it. So yeah. If you want to make your game look cooler or make it easier to organize, and also, yeah, they're pretty solid too. Like, stuff does not fall around or mess up when these games are in those inserts. You can put them in bags or whatever, and pieces do not fall out. It's pretty nice. All right. So get on Etsy if you like these games, and these box inserts, I think they were around $16, $18, something like that. So not expensive at all. Just adds some really good value to these games. But that's it. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.